If you're in a situation where your revenue is inconsistent, some months it's up, some months it's down, you're working all day, you're doing all these tasks, productive day, but then at the end of it, you see that the business didn't even move forward, the needle wasn't even moved, or you just constantly feel overwhelmed or burnt out, you're not enjoying the agency as much, then there's one thing that you need to solve, because you could be in a situation where you need to be involved in the company for every single thing to operate, like bookings, like sales, like delivery, and you're just constantly scattered everywhere. So by implementing this one thing, it's going to allow you to remove yourself from bookings, from sales, to get out of the day-to-day, to actually work on the business instead of in it, and to actually have that financial, that time, that location freedom that you want, right? So being able to obviously spend anything you want, not worry about the prices, all of that, but more importantly, being able to work anytime you want, knowing that the business is going to run and operate and grow without you being there. And then on top of that, also being able to do it from anywhere. So being able to travel, being able to be in different locations. And this is the exact skill that every single successful person that I know talks about. Whether this is millionaires, whether it's billionaires, they all mention the same thing. And it's the ability to duplicate yourself. So on the weekend, I was talking to one of my clients. We're actually doing an interview. His name's Aman. And he was telling me that before he was working with me, he was in a situation where he was running the agency. He was making 10, 20, 30,000 every single month. So good profits coming in. But he didn't enjoy his agency, right? He felt burnt out. He felt overwhelmed. He was involved in everything and he was stuck doing, honestly, low leverage tasks. So he was like sourcing leads. He was replying to emails. He was doing client support. All things that he already knew how to do. And he wanted to work on high leverage activities. That's the thing. He wanted to work on these things that move the business forward, but it just wasn't happening. So he felt like he was working all day and he had no time to do anything else. And he just felt stuck in this position of oscillating between 10 to 30,000 every single month. And I was in the exact same situation too, in that when I first got to around 10, 20K per month, I was still doing everything myself. So I had around 5 to 15 clients at a time, and I'd go on these big streaks of signing new clients, right? I remember one time specifically, I just moved out and I signed like 3 clients in 1 week, right? And I made like an extra $12,000. And this is like the most amount that I've ever made in a week. So I felt great. I felt fantastic. But then over the coming month, over the coming 2 months, what I realized was, okay, I just signed all these clients. I'm constantly on calls. I'm doing onboarding. I'm doing lead source. I'm doing all this stuff myself. And it's like things that needed to be done weren't getting done. I remember specifically, we used to run outbound campaigns for our clients. We were running the acquisition agency, helping them to book meetings, build offers, sales, all of that. And I remember one weekend I was looking, why am I not getting bookings for this client? Why is it not working? I didn't put leads in the campaign for 2 months, right? I didn't put leads in the campaign. The only thing required for the campaign to run for my client, they didn't get leads. Like there was not, the campaign wasn't even working. It was that bad. So it got to the point where I was so scattered, my attention was so all over the place that I just hated everything, because it's like, I have to answer the question, I have to do sales calls, I have to do bookings. So I would deliver, then I wouldn't have time for acquisition, so I'd stop that. Then I'll do acquisition once I start losing clients. And it's just this endless cycle. So what I want to go over are the lessons that allowed me to get out of this. And the first thing to understand that I heard recently on a podcast by Layla Hormozi, and she's making like $200 or $300 million per year. So she knows something. She's like under 30. But what she was saying is that one of the biggest beliefs that entrepreneurs have when they first run a company, specifically a small company, is that other people can't duplicate them, right? So the belief is that, you're not able to find someone that can do the things that you're doing. Right? You found out the skill, you figured out how to do it, but man, when you try to give it to someone else, it just doesn't work. They're just not that good. They're just not that smart. So you have to stay in it. So for example, this could be sales calls. It could be booking the meetings. It could be speaking to your clients, delivery, all of these things. If you have the belief, and honestly try and think, do you have the belief that other people can't do what you're doing right now? And I don't mean just one of the tasks, like some basic thing. I mean everything. Because fundamentally, if you want to get out of the day-to-day, you need to get out of the day-to-day. Like you need to give off every single one of your tasks. So genuinely ask yourself, if you've tried hiring people, why are they not taking care of all your tasks, right? Why have you not gotten out of every single thing in the business? And that is where the bottleneck of your growth is. Because if you get out of the things you're doing now, you're going to have all this time to focus on the things that move the business forward, like new hires, like new systems, like new sales leaders, all of these things. But because you're in the day-to-day, you can't actually do the things that move the entire company forward. So what I want you to do right now is open up a document, whether that's Google Docs, your notes, whatever, pen and paper. And I want you to note down every single task that you're doing on a weekly basis. So it can be literally anything: replying to clients on Slack, adding leads to the campaign, sending outreach messages on Instagram, sending outreach messages on LinkedIn, following up to leads on LinkedIn, doing sales calls, all of these things. I want you to note down every single one of them, down to the smallest thing, like uploading a call recording for a client, everything. And then what I want you to do is, now that you have this long list, and genuinely take time on this. So spend 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, just getting everything out, because by doing this, it's genuinely one of the highest leverage things you could do in the business. So note down every single thing that you're doing, and then ask yourself, if I found a competent person and train them with an unlimited amount of training to do this? Could someone else do this, right? And the point of this exercise is pretty much to identify, why haven't you given these tasks off, right? Because if you have this long list and you ask yourself, can another person on this planet do it? It's like, obviously someone else can do this. So why haven't they done it, right? And what I was saying to my client Aman was that your ability to scale, your ability to grow your agency is completely dependent on your ability to communicate what's in your head to someone else. And if you can do that, essentially you can delegate your whole business. But this isn't common. Most people are still fully involved. So what's the limitation? What's the bottleneck? It's purely your level of communication of what's in your head to another person. And most people, when they're doing training, when they're doing onboarding, it's all live, they're on calls. And most of the time it doesn't work. So you try telling them everything and then they do it and it doesn't work. It's like, why did they not just listen, right? And then you blame the person, which obviously isn't the case. So what we want to do, and this is the exact process that I took to get out of the day-to-day on my side, was firstly writing everything down. And then what you want to do is the next time you do that task, I want you to get a tool called Loom, Loom. And what it is a screen recording tool. And all you need to do is, while you're doing the task that you already do, I want you to record your screen while you do it and then speak over it as you're explaining it to a person. It doesn't have to be perfect. Even if it's just 70% right and someone else can follow it 70%, it's still better than zero, right? So download the tool, start using it when you're doing one of the tasks on this list and speak through it as you're doing it. And then what you're gonna do is, as soon as you finish the task and you finish the recording, I want you to put it into a doc and then write down the key steps that you use to do this. And I'll give you an example in a minute. But for example, let's say one of your tasks that you do every single day is sales training, right? And you do it every day and you're wondering, okay, can someone else do this, right? Obviously. So what you would do is, simply put, you would have obviously your Loom video, which explains exactly how to do it, but you'll also have a doc that walks you through how to do it in more of a checklist format. So for example, it's like, open up your sales tracker, input yesterday's call recordings, input yesterday's call recording notes. So it's like, how did the call go? Did you close the deal? Did you, whatever. Then it's like, the fourth one is practice objections. So go through your objection list and practice every single possible objection. Okay, number 5, practice pitch. And then just go through it for every single step until it's done. And then at the end of that, that is your document, that is your system. So when you hire another person, they can literally just follow that document step by step. They'll have a quick thing to look at, but they'll also have a video overview of how to do it. So they can just mimic your process for doing it. And what I want you to do for every single thing on your list, they each need one of these resources. And the best part about this is, you make it once and you never ever have to make it again. So for example, we hire setters to book appointments for us. And I have a full-on training, exactly how to get onboarded into the company, exactly how to do the actual setting, and exactly how to report and get paid at the end of it every single month. And none of this happens with me. It's literally all in a Google Doc with Loom. So if you can do this for every single thing that's happening in your business, and then you can hire a person to take care of all of these things, and then just make sure they're doing it right. So you just want to review their stuff, once or twice per week, just to make sure they're doing it properly. And then that's it. That is actually all it takes to get out of the day-to-day. And then after that, it's just a matter of doing it more with more people. Like, that is literally it. And it may seem super simple, but I really, really want you to do this, right? Actually make the list, actually record yourself doing it. It will genuinely make one of the biggest impacts in your company right now. And I understand it can be difficult. You may find it hard to be consistent with it, all of that. So if you want one-on-one accountability and weekly calls to actually make sure that this gets done, and I can just do this with you, book a time using the link below and we can see if there is a fit for the one-on-one program. And in there, besides obviously building out the systems, helping you scale up, systemizing your delivery, we'll also be covering how to book 1 to 5 meetings every day, and then closing sales calls at least 20 to 30% using things like content, using systems, and then also the operations, how to actually get out of the day-to-day and just have a machine that runs without you. So if you're interested, book a time below and I'll talk to you soon.